Good morning, students. Today we are discussing about the topic is physiology of digestion. The topic name is physiology of digestion. Previous class we are discussing about the digestive tract or alimentary canal. Next, the associated glands are digestive glands. Today we are discussing about the topic is physiology of digestion. Physiology of digestion. So what is the meaning of the digestion? Digestion means it is a complex non-soluble food is converted into the simple soluble ones. It is converted into the simple soluble ones. In this process known as digestion. So what is the meaning of digestion? Digestion means complex non-soluble food converted to the simple soluble ones. Simple ones. In this process known as digestion. What is the meaning of the digestion? Digestion means, so the complex non-soluble food is converted to the simple soluble ones. Then this process is known as digestion. Today we are discussing about the digestion in buccal cavity. The process is digestion in buccal cavity. Digestion in buccal cavity. Now, in this buccal cavity, we are discussing about previous class. We are discussing about the buccal cavity. In this buccal cavity, majorly conducting to the two functions. The buccal cavity is majorly conducting to how many functions? It is majorly conducting to the two functions. Two functions. So the first function is it is conducting to the mastication. The first process is mastication. And the second one is swallowing or deglutition. Deglutition. So the first one is digestion in the buccal cavity. The buccal cavity is conducting to the two major functions. First one is the mastication and the second one is the swallowing or deglutition. It is a 2 marks question. Distinguish between to the mastication and swallowing. Mastication and swallowing. It is a 2 marks question. So what is the meaning of mastication and swallowing or deglutition? Mastication means here in this mastication process the food is chewed or crushed by to the teeth. In this process the food is chewed or crushed by to the teeth. With the help of saliva. With the help of saliva. So what is the meaning of the mastication? Mastication means in this process food is chewed or crushed by the teeth. With the help of saliva. With the help of saliva. Finally the food is formed to the bolus. Finally the food is formed to the bolus. What is the bolus? Bolus means the food is crushed by to the teeth with the mixed with saliva. In this food is known as bolus. Next, what is the meaning of this swallowing? So the swallowing or deglutition, that means in this process the formations of the bolus food. Formations of the bolus food. The formations of the bolus food is passes into the esophagus pharynx. In this process known as swallowing or deglutition. So mastication means the food is crushed or chewed by to the teeth with the help of saliva. Finally, this formations to the bolus is known as a mastication. So swallowing and deglutition means in this process the formations of the bolus food is passes into the pharynx and esophagus. Finally is entered into the stomach. This kind of process is known as swallowing or deglutition. So it is a 2 marks question. Now in this digestion in the buccal cavity, in this process first one is the starch is converted to the maltose. In this process, the starch is converted into the maltose. In the act by to the salivary amylase. Salivary amylase. Salivary amylase. So the salivary amylase, it is containing to the enzymes is ptyalin enzyme or lysozyme. Ptyalin or lysozyme enzyme. It is the digestion of the buccal cavity. Buccal cavity is containing to the 2 major functions, mastication or swallowing. Mastication means in this process the food is crushed or chewed by to the teeth with the help of the saliva or mix of the saliva. Finally it is the formations to the bolus. This kind of process is known as a mastication. After formations of the bolus, food is passes into the pharynx and the esophagus, finally enter into the stomach. In this process known as a swallowing. Another one is in this digestion in buccal cavity. In this process, the starch is converted into the maltose, acted by to the salivary amylase. Salivary amylase is like a ptyalin and lysozyme enzyme. It is a digestion in buccal cavity. Next one is digestion in stomach. Another one is digestion in stomach. So digestion in stomach. In this process, first of all stomach. The stomach is stored to the food in 3 to 4 hours. It is storing to the food is 3 to 4 hours. The stomach is storing to the food is how many hours? 3 to 4 hours. In this time, the food is mixed with gastric juices. The food is mixed with gastric juices. Gastric juices. Because the gastric glands is present to the wall of the stomach. Previous class we had discussions about the gastric glands. The gastric glands is present to the wall of the stomach. In this glands is secreting to the gastric juice. The stomach is stored to the food is of 3 to 4 hours. After the food is mixed with the gastric juices. Finally, this kind of food is known as chyme. This type of food is known as chyme. So what is chyme? It is a 2 marks question. So that means of the food is stored by the stomach in 3 to 4 hours and the food is mixed with the gastric juice. Finally, the formations of the food is known as chyme. It is a 2 marks question. Next, in this gastric glands is mainly consist of the 3 cells, and this cells is secreting to the different type of enzymes. For example, the gastric glands is containing to the pyloric glands. Next, cardiac, pyloric cells, cardiac cells, and fundic. These are consist to the gastric glands. So the pyloric glands is secreting to the mucus. Secreting to the mucus. And the cardiac gland is secreting to the mucus and gastrin enzyme. Gastrin enzyme. And the fundic gland is composed of 3 kinds of cells. It is composed of 3 kinds of cells. So the 3 kinds of cells these are, first one is the neck cell. First one is neck cell. And the second one is peptic cells. Second one is peptic cells. And the third one is auxetic cells. Auxetic cells. So the neck cells is secreting to the mucus. Neck cells is secreting to the mucus. And the peptic cells is secreting to the proenzymes. It is secreting to the proenzymes. Proenzymes. Proenzymes like pepsinogen or prorenin. Pepsinogen or prorenin. And the last one is oxidic cells. In this oxidic cells is secreted into the HCl. It is the total information of the gastric glands. First of all, digestion in the stomach. In this stomach is stored to the food is 3 to 4 hours after the food is mixed with the gastric juice, because in this gastric glands is present in the wall of the stomach. Finally, secreting to the gastric juice. This kind of food is known as a chyme. It is a 2 marks question. And the gastric glands is contained into the 3 major cells: pyloric, cardiac, and fundic portions. And the pyloric cells is secreted into the mucus, cardiac cells is secreted into the mucus and gastroenterine, and the fundic is compartments of the 3 cells. So it is a neck cell, peptic cell, oxidic cells. Neck cells is secreted into the mucus, peptic cells is secreted into the proenzymes. Proenzymes are like a pepsinogen and prorenin. And the last one is the oxidic cells. Oxidic cells is secreted into the HCl. Now, in this process to the digestion in stomach. Digestion in stomach. So in this process, the digestion in the stomach, prorenin. So prorenin, it is a inactive stage. It is a inactive stage in the stomach. After the prorenin is converted into the renin. Is converted into the renin. In the presence of HCl. In the presence of HCl. So in this HCl is secreted into the which cells? Oxidic cells. In this oxidic cells is secreted into the HCl. In the presence of the HCl, the prorenin enzyme, inactive stage of the prorenin enzyme is converted into the active stage of the renin. Active stage of the renin. After the pepsinogen. Pepsinogen. So the pepsinogen is an inactive stage. So the pepsinogen is an inactive stage. The inactive stage of the pepsinogen is converted into the pepsin. Is converted into the pepsin. It is an active stage. It is an active stage. In this presence of HCl. In this HCl is secreting by to the which cells? Oxidic cells. And the pepsinogen prorenins. These are kind of cells enzymes is secreting by to the which cells? Optic cells. Next, prorenin, inactive stage of the prorenin is converted into the renin. Inactive stage of the pepsinogen is converted into the pepsin in the presence of HCl. Next, after, in this renin is act on to the casein protein. It is act on to the which protein? It is act on to the casein protein. So the renin is act on to the casein protein. Finally, it is the formation to the calcium paracaseinate. Finally, this formation is to calcium paracaseinate. So in this calcium paracaseinate is acted by to the pepsin. Is acted by to the pepsin. So the calcium paracaseinate. Act by to the pepsin. Finally, it is converted into the peptoses. Next, in this pepsin is also act on by to the proteins. Finally, it is converted into the proteases and peptoses. It is the digestion in the stomach. So the digestion in the stomach, in this process, the inactive stage of the prorenin is converted into the renin in the presence of HCl. At the same way, the inactive stage of the pepsinogen is converted into the pepsin in the presence of HCl. And in this renin is acted onto the casein protein. Finally, this formation to the calcium paracaseinate. And in this calcium paracaseinate is acted by to the pepsin. Finally, it is converted into the peptoses. After the pepsin is also activated in proteins. In this proteins is finally converted into the proteases plus peptoses. It is the process of digestion in stomach. Next day we are discussing about the digestion in small intestine.